Ooh. Good morning, Melbourne. Good morning, Australia. Hi, I'm coming to you from Melbourne. This is Munro. Hello. I am currently up a little higher than I normally am, blockading the Port of Melbourne. I'd like to start off this live stream by acknowledging that I'm performing this action on stolen Wurundjeri land. Sovereignty was never ceded. This is stolen land that we walk on every day. You can see the land around me. Nothing like it should be. This land is being completely desecrated for the good of the few. Yeah, welcome. I wanna pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. And yeah, here I am. Hi. I guess, well, what can I say? I want to start off this by talking about what I'm doing here. What I'm doing currently is direct action. This is direct action against the Port of Melbourne, but also the system as a whole. This system works to exploit everybody, the everyday person, everybody, the country. Constantly, it's always working to exploit, and that exploitation is destroying the planet. It's destroying ecosystems. It's destroying species. Species are going extinct every day. We're in a really dire situation right now. We're in a dire situation, and so here we are taking dire action. And that's really the only thing that I can see that we can do, is take dire action. Because otherwise the system isn't going to stop. It's just going to keep going. It's going to keep destroying this planet, and we only have one of these, And I don't want to see it fucked up. I don't want to see it destroyed. It's so beautiful, the world we live on. And it's getting less and less beautiful every day. And it's really a terrible thing. But there is something we can do about it. There's a lot we can do about it. Ignoring it isn't part of that. A lot of people ignore it, and a lot of people go by their daily lives ignoring it. And we know about it. A lot of people know about it, A lot of people keep it in their minds and they think about it, but when they think about it, they get depressed. Because it is depressing. It's depressing to think that the planet we are on is dying. It's really sad. But it's the reality. It's the truth. It's what's happening right now. But ignoring it won't do anything. Getting out there and doing something about it will. And that's what we're doing here today. That's what we're doing in Newcastle. That's what we're doing up in Queensland. We're doing something about it. I hope that you can do something about it as well. Yeah, I started this journey by, I was just a pretty normal person. I worked, pretty regularly. I do work still. And about 2 years ago, I started reading the news. Every day I started download 2 news apps onto my phone, started reading articles. And all that it led me to was despair. I realized that, the world is pretty wrecked, and it's getting more and more wrecked. And people aren't going to stop wrecking it. And I got really sad for a long time. And then I just decided not to be. I decided not to be sad anymore. And I decided that I could do something about it. So I went out and found other people who wanted to do something about it. And now we're here doing something about it, And that's all you can do. That's all you can do. You can sit around at work and think about it. It's not really going to do much. You have to do something. That's what I hope you do. It's more than reduce, reuse, recycle, That's not going to cut the mustard. The mustard's, it's very thick mustard. We're in a pretty terrible situation. I don't know, maybe you guys want to see around a little bit. I haven't shown too much. Here we are. We're on Webb Dock Road at the moment. If you look this way, lots of trucks waiting to come in. The Port of Melbourne is Australia's largest container port. You can see all these containers up here. Yeah, the fourth largest container port in the Southern Hemisphere. Trucks coming out of this port contribute to about 60% of Melbourne's overall traffic. It's pretty fucking crazy. So it's not just the products that are coming out here, not just the trash that's coming from the port, but also just like this sheer amount of transport is, and most of this stuff, like I understand there's essential things that come from the port, but a lot of this stuff is stuff that's just produced to be sold and thrown away for nothing, to go into landfill. It's purposely designed to go into landfill. It's not good for anybody. It's not good for anything. And we can't be doing stuff like this in a time when we are literally on a dying planet. We can't be doing that right now. It's absurd and ridiculous that we are, I would say. It's really just quite crazy. And we need to stop. Yeah, we need to stop. We need to slow down at least. We need to do something because this isn't sustainable. And I think lots of people know that. They know that what we're doing currently isn't sustainable. If you go just to your supermarket, look at all that plastic on the shelves. It says recyclable. They're not gonna. So much of that is going into landfill. Everything, everything is gonna get worse. It's getting worse. We see it getting worse every day. We're in so many crises right now. We're in like a wild amount of crises, and they're not going to stop coming. They're not going to stop coming unless we do something radical about it. And there are, I know, I could quote you the articles and all the science. So many people, I see the articles and the science. That's something we're all aware of, and I think that kind of just sits with us. But doing something is what actually matters, Being here is what actually matters. And there are so many different ways you can do that. Go out and find people. Go out and join groups that want to do something and make actual changes, because that's what we need right now. This system isn't going to change by itself. It's not. No one's going to change it unless it gets changed. This system produces so much suffering. Every day it creates suffering all around the world. And, maybe it's going to take a bit of suffering to change it as well. But it's nothing compared to what's ahead if we don't change it. It's nothing at all. Yeah, maybe I'll show you guys the view again for a little bit whilst I recharge my little vocal cords here. You can see walk. Trucks are starting to turn around now. Look at this, bare hills shipping containers. This was once a beautiful place. All of Melbourne was once a beautiful place. Parts of it still are. But, this was all green, marshland, swampland. They completely filled in this whole island with concrete. Filled it in just to exploit and proliferate. Exploit this country, exploit its peoples. And that they're continuing to do every day. Yeah. Hello. Great stuff. Well, what else can I talk about? Maybe I'll we're a little bit in now. I can kind of start from the beginning. I want to reaffirm my acknowledgement to the First Peoples of this country. We're on stolen Wurundjeri land. I'd like to extend my deepest respects to the elders, past, future, and emerging. And I hope those elders stay strong. They are fighting a fight that has been fought for a couple of 100 years now, and that fight has been so difficult, and that's a fight that I hope will never stop, and there's fights like that happening all over the world, and it's the same thing that's causing those fights. It's the same thing. It's this colonial complex. It's the greed seeping through. Greed for land, greed for resources, greed for labor. It just wanting more and more and consuming, and we cannot allow that, because there's not going to be anything left to consume. It's all just going to be in one big belly, and then there's going to be a lot of empty bellies, and there's already a lot of empty bellies, and that's quite terrible. But again, back around, there's something we can do. We can go out, we can find some cool friends who also want to see the world a better place, and we can say, hey cool friends, you want to fight the system? And we can. And it's kind of fun. It's pretty good. I recommend it. You get to hang out. Oh yeah, for sure. Maybe I'll go back to my little story before. Reading the news every day. Reading the news, getting very sad. I remember a particular moment that really woke me up. I was reading the news, I started listening to podcasts and stuff, just like things that are happening in Australia, in my country, I started listening to and reading a lot. I remember I listened to one particular episode of, I think it was the Politics Australia podcast, and there were, people I'd been listening to for a while, very, incredibly smart people. It was like a panel. There were 6 people I all respected a lot, and I could just, they were talking about the climate crisis. They were talking about, I think it might have been in the lead up to the climate elections, so-called. And I could just hear the real despair in their voices talking about it. I could hear how hopeless they were, very intelligent people, completely hopeless. And I don't know, that really, really woke me up to the fact that we're not getting out of this situation unless we force our way out of this situation, We really need to, because this system, it's not going to change unless it's made to change. We need to make it change. And that happens within the individual, that happens within the groups, that can happen within you. I'm not up here asking for your money. I'm up here asking for your time. All our lives are going to get progressively worse unless we actively strive to make them better. And we all need to do that, I believe. We all need to actively strive to make our lives better. And that's not having a protein shake. That's not having a little chocolate bar. That's working. That's working with your friends and making this world a better place. That's what we need to do. I'm very excited that many people around this continent are doing that. And I hope that will just grow stronger and stronger. I know it will. I know it will. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. In a desperate place. What else you want to see? There's a nice, if you come this way, whoop, 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 the sun's rising over our lovely city here. People getting up, going to work. You might notice today, so I'm at the Port of Melbourne. I'm not blocking a pedestrian roadway. This is a direct route into the port. This is a direct targeted action against the Port of Melbourne, specifically because it is such a major part in the exploitation of this country. It is, one of the center hubs where this world is dying from. So, it's a bleeding wound on this planet. And, that wound needs to be band-aided. I mean, it's been band-aided with a lot of concrete already, but, maybe band-aided with some trees. Yeah. Good stuff. Wow. We've got some more police going up at the moment. Hello, poo-poo. Yeah. Cool. I guess I'll start talking again. Wow. Yeah, we are in a desperate situation currently. A lot of us feel that desperation, I feel, every day. A lot of us avoid talking about it, I think. Talking about it, thinking about it. Like, I've been in so many chats with my friends, and like, you know, someone will make like, you know, we'll just be chatting, hanging, and then someone will make a little joke about the planet dying, and then it's like a little giggle off, and then there's like a moment of silence in the air, you know, and everyone just thinks about it for a second, and then we continue on, you know? I think that's a situation that can kind of, many people can relate to. But it's true. It's true. Like, you know, all those little jokes, they come from a place of reality because we're pretty fucked up. The world's getting more and more destroyed every day. This is happening all over the world, you know. Ecosystems are dying, species are going extinct. It's a terrible thing that's happening, and we're all experiencing it together, you know. Every individual is experiencing it, and you know, it's an individual thing and it's a collective thing, and you can kind of choose to sit by individually and hang out and watch it happen, or you can get out there and do something about it, you know. You can get up, you can get into the streets, you know. We've done a lot of stuff on the streets in the past. We've seen so many protests happen in the past years about the climate, you know, disaster that's unfolding at the moment. And, you know, what have we seen? We've seen the government reluctantly take steps towards, you know, reducing emissions, doing these little carbon schemes, all these things that are like, just kind of shows no real action. There's nothing I can point to that's been real action against averting this disaster that we find ourselves in. And it is a disaster. Real action needs to be taken. People are saying it everywhere, you know. All we need is real action. And it's obvious it's not coming from the government. It's not coming from the state. It needs to come from people. You know, all the power in this world, you know, everything that this world has built, everything that it will, you know, build, has all come from people, individuals, you know, working towards a collective goal. And I think our collective goal needs to shift from production and consumption to something better, something more sustainable. Otherwise, there's not going to be much left, you know. Yeah, it's quite sad to think about, but it's also very exciting to think about, because I believe in us. I believe in you. I believe in you. You right there. I believe in you. And your power to do something. I believe in you. I believe in us. We've done so much and we can do so much more. And there's a lot more to do. Yeah. Cool. Give you a little show again. Hello. Whoa. If you can't really see what I'm on, maybe. There's a little, I'm on a pole right now. I'm up pretty high on a little pole, just suspended. It's pretty fun. You can hang around. Yeah. I'm safe. No, I'm safe. You know, of course I'm safe. I got the safety inspectors here. Yeah. And we are at the Port of Melbourne, blockading its entrances. People power to elect the mundo. That's all we need. It's all we have. You know. That's where positive change needs to come from, is individuals, and everything's built on individuals, you know. That all of the institutions currently held would be nothing without the individuals holding them up. And it takes individuals to tear them down. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people to thank for this. It's a lot of hard work doing this stuff. It is a lot of sacrifice. But that's what we need to be doing right now, is sacrificing. Because otherwise we'll just lose it all without the sacrifice. And isn't that a bit silly? Yeah, I'd rather sacrifice than lose, I feel. Yeah. Might go back to I got asked to do a, 1 sec, I'm just gonna do you know flip? Sorry. Forgot I'm sitting in my little chair. I got a little chair. Can't do any fun flips. Yeah. All this destruction, all this death, all this exploitation, it all comes from the base system. People believe that there's a lot of flaws in the system. I don't think that's true. I think the system works exactly how it wants to work. The reason why everything is going so terribly is because that system is working like a well-oiled machine. It's not broken, it's fixed. And it needs breaking. Yeah. And it's just going to continue killing and consuming and killing and consuming ecosystems, continents, people, especially people, anything. It's just going to keep consuming until there's nothing left. I was in a museum recently, Museum of Adelaide. It's a pretty nice museum. But I went there was this little dark room in the corner. One of the exhibits. I went in there, and it was full of the species of South Australia that had gone extinct. That was pretty terrifying, little dark room. I reckon, if we keep going down the path we're going in, that's not going to be a little dark room anymore. That's going to be a pretty big room. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty big room full of a lot of extinct animals. Because things are getting worse and worse for us, for animals, and for the whole world. It's getting bad. It is bad, and it's just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse unless we do something about it. Unless we take direct action and make change. You gotta make the change you want to see in the world. And I want to see a better world. I know there's plenty of people out there who want a better world. And I implore you to make that better world. Because it's not just going to come. The government's not going to take it to you. They're not going to hand it to you on a plate. You can see everything they do with complete reluctantly. They don't want to make things better. Because it doesn't benefit them. It doesn't benefit them, and it doesn't benefit the people that they represent. Which is the rich, the powerful, not us, not me, not you, probably. If it's you, then, wow, probably change what you're doing. Probably a good idea. Otherwise, you can sit in your little house, big house, watch the world burn, that might be kind of fun for you. It's not what I want to do. I want to sit around with my friends and watch the world flourish. Yeah. And I hope we can do that together. I really hope we can. There's long days ahead. There's a lot of long days ahead, I feel. And there's been a lot of long days leading up to this. A lot of work goes into this stuff. And it should be acknowledged. Yeah. Maybe a little jump back around. Hello, look at where we are. We're at the Port of Melbourne. I like the colour palette on these shipping containers. It's kind of nice, isn't it? Picturesque, you'd say. Yeah. Sheep on a nice green field. Yeah. You can see if we go this way, well, maybe this way. My angling's a little weird. Oh, hello. There's a port behind me here. Main gates. I'm in the way, unfortunately, for the gates and the people wanting to go through them. But, you know, that's how it has to be at the moment. I want to reaffirm my acknowledgement. I'd like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people, whose land I am performing this action on today. This land was stolen. This land was bathed in blood. And there's a wound here that will never recover. But it can get better. I'd like to acknowledge elders, past, current, and emerging, and the wisdom that they hold. There's a lot of knowledge there that we need going into the future if we're going to reconnect to this land. If we're going to, you know, unwreck it, for a polite term. This land, a lot of terrible things have happened in the name of exploitation, in the name of profiteering, in the name of the few, you know. Yummy. What else can I talk about? Hi, I'm Munro, by the way. Hello, this is your friend Munro. Our mate just waves at me down there. Hello. Maybe I'll start from a bit of an earlier bit, you know. Let's talk about the world. It's pretty wrecked at the moment. A lot of us know it. Most of us know it, I feel. If you don't know it, well, why are you watching this? Maybe you should watch more of this. But it's pretty messed up at the moment. And it doesn't seem, you know, there's bits and bobs happening about it, but nowhere near as much as we need right now. You know, people are out there calling, we are in an emergency. We are in an emergency. This is an emergency that we are in. The world is dying. And we can't let it die. I think it would be a terrible thing. I mean, it would be a terrible thing for all of us if we will let this place go to shit. You know, there's so many beautiful things on this world. Every time I go out, I see beautiful things going into the country, into the bush. Not as much as there should be, but so much of it is so beautiful, and there's so much to appreciate. But it's all just going to go. It's all just going to go if we keep letting it get consumed and exploited and, you know, turn to shit for the profit of the few, so that certain people can sit around and feel very good about themselves and their big bank accounts and their big houses, you know. To let the world burn for that is something very terrible, and I don't plan to let that happen. I think most people don't want that to happen, and it doesn't have to happen because we can change it. You know, it's not a thing that's stagnant. It's not a thing that's set in stone. It's a thing that can change, and we should change it, and we need to change it. Otherwise, well, what have we got? We're not the planet. What have we got? We go get another one. I mean, good luck. Good luck. I don't think you're going to find one as beautiful as this. This is a very beautiful place that we've found ourselves in. We need to appreciate it. We need to love it, and we need to care for it. And that's not what we're doing right now. Not at all. Wow. I'm going to drink a bit of water real quick, but I hang around, you hang around. Bit hard to do. put this little thing on my lap. Hello. Yeah, that's good. Hey, this water bottle from Savers, alright? You can see the sticker. Reduce, reuse, recycle. No, that's not enough. That's not what we need. Alright, hello, I'm back. It's me, your friend Munro. Hi. What should I talk about? I don't know. There's so much to talk about. I'm just kind of rambling to myself here, you know. It's kind of fun. It's pretty good. It's very rare that you get such a platform for political expression, you know. I'm very thankful that I have this opportunity, and so many people don't get this opportunity to express these type of things, not in any meaningful way. But it's an opportunity you can make. It's an opportunity you can create. You just have to go out there and do it. People who do these type of actions and who, you know, express themselves, and in this is what this is. This is a expression. This is direct action is an expression of the self, and a very disruptive one. The more people who do this, you know, the more shot we have of getting through this together. You know, that's what we need to do. We need to get through this together. Very nice. Wow. It's quite nice up here. It's pretty beautiful. You can see the port doing its work still. You know, I'm doing a little bit here. Doing a little bit. Blocking a bit, but not enough to stop that monster. A gigantic machine over there. It's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot. And that's why we need as many people as we can. You know, the world needs as many people as it can get to help defend it, because it can't defend itself. It can't. I mean, it is kind of defending itself in a way by killing us off with, you know, disasters, stuff like that. You can see it as a system of defense, but I know that's not very symbiotic. It's not very mutually beneficial. I'd like to see something a little bit more mutually beneficial for us and the planet, you know. Yeah, you know, there's so much fear and desperation around these times. I see it so much, you know. There's in so many crises at the moment, you know. Food, you know, water, all around the world, energy. We're struggling so much to get what we need. And it's because we're telling ourselves that we need so much more than we need, you know? And that's not, I'm not saying that in the terms of food and water, but consumables, consumption, you know? We get all this stuff that we don't need and we throw it away. And where does it go? Where does it go? In a hole, probably. Maybe in the ocean. Maybe some of it gets recycled a little bit. I hear a lot of it just sits in warehouses. Yeah, it's pretty terrible. It's pretty terrible. And a lot of it comes from here. A whole lot of it comes from here. The Port of Melbourne, where we are currently. Yeah. Wow. What else can we talk about? I guess I'd like to talk about wow, I've been getting this question a lot. Where did I get my phone from? I get some tradies yelling at me. I've seen it a few times in the comments. It's very interesting. Like, there's this funny idea people have with like activists and stuff that they just want us to stop completely, you know? I don't think we need to stop completely. I don't think the world needs to come to a standstill. We do need to make a radical change, you know? We do need to change oh so much in order to survive. And there's so many, this is not just an opinion of mine, it's not just something I'm pulling out of the air here. There's so many people saying that. People are a lot smarter than me. Saying that all over the world, you know. People in really, people who have really worked to get into their positions are all saying that we need to make radical change, like extreme radical change. We're in a disaster situation. We need to treat it as such. Otherwise, I know the disaster just overcomes you, and then you're done. You're done. I don't want to be done. You want to be done? I don't want to be done. I want to keep going. And I want people after I'm here to keep going. I want the planet to keep going. I want species to keep going. I want the trees to keep going, you know? I want everything. I want this whole planet to grow and be beautiful. Because it's taken a lot of hits over the past couple hundred years. But it can come back. It can bounce back. I believe that. If we let it bounce back, it will bounce back. We've still got a little bit of hope, a little bit of chance there that we can, turn it all around. Even though the situation right now is so dire, so desperate, there's still hope. And that hope lies within us, within, people actually getting out there and doing stuff, within people making active decisions in their life to make radical change. That's what we need currently. Otherwise, change is going to come and it's going to be really bad. And a lot of us are going to be quite upset and very hungry. And, it's just going to be pretty trash overall. And we're feeling that now. We are feeling that now. I know you're feeling that now. Most people are feeling that now. Life is getting harder and harder every day. Harder for the individual, it's mostly getting harder by the people who work the most. Those are the people who feel it the most, are the people who work the most, the people out there, doing the basic jobs and suffering for it, just so that other people can live their lives beyond their means, way more than they need to. It's really terrible and a bad thing. I think most people can agree it's a pretty bad thing. It can get better. We can make it better. I want to make it better. I hope you want to make it better. Yeah. I guess I'm going on circles a little bit here. I am on a pole, but going around in circles a little bit. But hopefully, there's people dropping in, coming out. I really want the message to get out there. I don't know. I feel like the message is already out there, that we're pretty fucked. That's out there. You know that. I hope you know that. But I guess the message, as I keep saying, is that you can do something about it. And you should. It's what we need right now. We need people out there actively wanting to do something about it, and doing those things. Like if you're on the fringes, you're very aware of the crisis that we're in, the disaster, and you have those moments of desperation, the bits where whenever you think about it, those moments of pure sadness of, what can I do? I can't do anything. I might as well just not think about it, you know? You can think about it. Think about it more. Think about it a lot more. And get active and do something. You know, as I keep saying, go find other people who want to do something. Join together. We're really strong together, you know? You get enough people together, you can make so much change. And we need so much change right now. And it can be done in so many ways, you know? Just get out, baby steps, you know? Baby steps. You don't have to go out there and jump on a pole. You don't have to go out there and block a port. Not straight away. Maybe one day. But just go out and start talking to people. Start meeting people. Start talking about the way you want to see the world. And start thinking about how you can make that happen. And I'm sure you'll end up somewhere similar to this. Yeah. Yeah. So a few search and rescue here now. Hello. Oh, very nice little suits they have. Very fashionable. Yeah. Very cool. Wow. Funny just hanging out here in a little chair, talking to a phone, chatting away about how the world's real wrecked. And it's a funny little thing to do. Very necessary, but, you know, a lot of time to think up here, a lot of time to speak. Maybe I'll give you another little view around and see me. See where I am at the Port of Melbourne, Web Dock Road. Big line of trucks wanting to get in. So there's a lot of trucks wanting to get out as well. All wanting to get filled up with stuff. Yeah. So today I am blockading the Port of Melbourne. I'm up on a big pole, stopping trucks going in or out of the port. This is what we call direct action. This direct action is in response to, you know, the crisis that we're currently in. The situation we find ourselves in. We're in an emergency, climate emergency. And we need to act now. We need to do something about it. As I've been saying, you know, we see little steps. We see little steps come from the state, from the government, from the system. Little baby things, but it's nowhere near as drastic as what we need to be doing right now. It's nowhere near, like, we need to be doing mass change. The whole way we live our lives needs to change. And I know it's really confronting to think about. It's really confronting and, like, scary to think about how much we need to change in order to survive. But not surviving is also so much more scarier. It's terrifying. You know, that's what we need to avoid, because it's coming for us. And so many of us feel it, you know. It's coming for us. We're feeling it now, and we're going to feel it so much worse in the future if we don't do something about it. But we can. We can get together with our friends and do some cool stuff. Yeah. That's what I hope to do. As I said, I'm not up here asking for your money. I'm not up here asking for your, like, shares or your anything. I don't really, you know, I'm up here asking for your time. Because we all need to put in time to avoid this crisis we find ourselves in. It takes a lot of time, a lot of energy. It will take a lot of time, a lot of energy to get out of this hole that we've dug ourselves, you know? And we need to get ourselves out of that hole, and we need to break the fucking shovel. Yeah. I hope you can do that. I'm doing that right now. I'm trying. I know there's a lot of people other places trying. Best of luck to the people out in other states doing the same stuff. I hope to see the same thing in more places. This stuff happens around the world as well. Maybe you see this in your local news, but this type of stuff, direct action, is happening around the world at the moment. People all over know that we're in a desperate situation, that we need this change, and it's just something that has to be done. Otherwise, we're not going to get out of this. And we need to get out of this. I want people to keep living here for a long time. I want the animals to keep living here for a long time. The trees to keep living here for a long time. I don't want to see a wasteland. I probably won't live to see a wasteland, but there's people after me. And that's what we're doing this for. Those people. Yeah. Sorry, my vocal ability is going down a little bit. I've been talking for a while now. I've been up here for a bit, which is pretty good. They haven't got me down yet. Yeah, very good, very good. Maybe I'll just do one of those little turnarounds. Hi, hey, it's your friend Munro. Hi, hey. You know what I'm doing? I'm blockading the Port of Melbourne. Maybe I can go back to talking about how I found myself here. Where was I before? I was listening to a podcast. That was nice. Then after I got those moments of desperation, I kept reading more and more, and I was like, what can I do about this? And eventually I ended up reading about these type of climate protests happening in Europe, and realizing they were happening all around the world, and being so inspired by people putting themselves on the line and taking the action they wanted to see into the world. It's a very inspiring thing. And people, groups, not just people, groups, people, whole communities putting themselves on the line. We've seen that in this country. We've seen that in so many countries. Communities getting out together and saying, we're not going to let this happen. And that's what you can do. You can go out there and say, I'm not going to let this happen. I'm not going to let this planet die. And I hope you can do that. I hope you can do that. It takes a lot of, sacrifice. It takes a lot of just thinking about it is intimidating. I know. I spent a lot of time thinking about it. I spent so much time thinking about it. Years. Before I decided that it was time to do something. And I took baby steps. I went out to community groups. I went out to lots of meetings, lots of meetings with little groups. And a lot of them frustrated me so much. So many, it was just like petitioning and, doing all these little things that really, we saw going out protests, things that we were not seeing any results, no change was coming of them. We'd get a story in the news and be like, yay, but it's not enough. It's not enough to change. We need so much more to change. We need to be out there doing stuff like this. We need to be doing more than this, to be honest. This isn't enough. I don't think this is enough. I'm probably going to be frustrated after this, but I am frustrated right now about how little this is really achieving compared to how much we actually need to achieve. Because it's so much. The task ahead of us is so tremendous. But we can get there. We can get there. We just have to work towards it. You can work towards it. I'm working towards it. It's a collective goal that I'm sure we can share together. Have a little bit of fun doing it as well. Can't forget the fun. This isn't the most fun part. The action is a bit of a, necessary evil, Most people, they always say, like, I don't want to be doing this. I can say that. I don't want to be out here doing this, but it's what needs to be done. I'm not the only one sacrificing for this stuff. I know there's people all over who are sacrificing so much to try and create the better world that they want to see. And I encourage you to be one of those people. You can be a person out there creating the better world that you want to see. We can tip the scale, It's going down, we're all going downhill. But if there's enough of us, we can push the boulder back up the hill. That would be quite nice, wouldn't it? Imagine that boulder at the top of the hill. Yeah. Maybe do another little look around. I got a little friend up in the sky now. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't know if you can see him. He's a little loud. Yeah. But here we are at the Port of Melbourne, taking action. Trying to, maintain this little bit of safety that we got. This little bit, We're so fortunate to have this world, this beautiful, illustrious world, We're so fortunate to have it, and to let it go to waste for nothing would be such a terrible thing. Such a terrible thing. Like, imagine reading about that. Imagine if it were a book. You'd think it was ridiculous if you had this, if you were reading about this planet that just, had such a beautiful, gorgeous planet, and then one species just decided to consume the whole thing. It's like a fable, It's like a very scary Brothers Grimm story or something. But that's what we're living in. It's kind of how it is. It's pretty ridiculous. It's sad that we've let it get to this state. But there's been people fighting it the whole time. People on this land have been fighting it for a long time. People all around the world have been fighting it for a long time. And that fight's going to continue for a long time until it's won. I hope. Yeah, it's getting pretty chilly. It's a balmy morning out of Melbourne today. Maybe it's not, I'm not sure. I don't actually know what balmy means. Yeah. Hear a few more sirens. Have another little look around. Here we are. Port of Melbourne, Web Dock Road. I have fond memories of this little road. Big road, nothing little about it. Truck road. There we are. Good look around. Woo. Yeah, I guess, what can I speak to? I'm sorry if you're listening to the whole thing and just hearing me ramble about the same stuff, but it's pretty important stuff, It's pretty important. It's gotta get it in the noggin, get it in the noggin. I'm sure it's, as I keep saying, I think it's in a lot of people's noggins. I think it's in people's heads already, the dire situation we're in, the desperate situation we're in. So many people are aware of it. So many, especially young people. I think we all have an idea of the crisis that we're in. We all know, and I know. It seems like a lot of people are just kind of sitting back and waiting for it to happen. Not sitting back, you're working. People are working. They're trying to get by their day-to-day lives, but I think we can't just keep living those day-to-day lives whilst we know that things are going to get so much worse, so much worse. And we feel them getting worse every day, and so many crises right now. Chips are so expensive. You remember the days when chips were cheap? Yeah. But on a serious note, you know, there are people dying all around the world. Species going extinct. That's like plant and animal species going extinct. You know, the oceans. What's happening with the oceans? Hey, those things are getting real wrecked. I remember reading, it was like, I think it was the Discovery of America. And they were saying, you know, like, the oceans were so full around the coast that you could just pick up fish. They were just everywhere, you know, you could just walk into the water and pick up a fish. But, you know, it was considered for so long like an unlimited resource. And now we're getting to the point where we're seeing that it's definitely not. You know, there is no such thing as an unlimited resource on this earth. It's going to be pretty rough. It's going to be pretty rough for all of us once we've dug every little bit out and there's nothing left to consume. You know, and we're not the only ones consuming it. It's not just for us to consume. You know, this whole earth needs, you know, there's many ecosystems to sustain, and we need those ecosystems to live as well. It's not just like, oh, we consume, there's nothing left for the other ones, that's fine, I guess. You know, we need those other ecosystems to survive. We need the trees. We need flora and fauna, plant life, animal life. We need them to survive. Otherwise, we're not going to survive. Or if we do, I know, hold out in a bunker somewhere, you have a pretty shit time, I imagine. I don't have that shit time. That's not my time. That's not for me. Yeah. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Everyone who's tuned in, who's come and listened to me ramble. I appreciate it a lot. I appreciate you. I hope that you can. I hope that this helps you in some type of journey, some type of, you know, way forwards. And you know, I hope that I blocked the shit ton of stuff from the port today. I hope that as well. Battery's gonna run out soon, and also if you check out here, I got a little crane coming up. Hey guys. But yeah. What else can I say? There's so much to say. There's so much to do. There's a lot more to do than there is to say. Oh wow, let's go in a really comfy position. I don't know why I haven't been sitting like this the whole time. Yeah, there's so much to do. There's so much to say. And I hope that you can, you know, I'm here doing some stuff and saying some stuff. I hope that you can go and do and say a lot more than me. You know, all of you. I hope that everyone goes out and, you know, does as much as they can, because that's what we need right now. We need to be doing as much as we can, otherwise we'll all be a little fucked, won't we? Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Sky's turning blue. Might be balmy. Okay, maybe I got a little bit more time to ramble a little bit. What was I talking about on? Oh yeah, personal journey. How about that? Yeah, I was reading. Did a lot of reading, and then started going to meetings, very frustrated meetings. And then, yeah, after going to those meetings and getting frustrated and like doing like petitioning and letterboxing and stuff like that, I know, I just realized it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. It wasn't what we needed. Like, it's good. I appreciate those people who do those things, but I implore them to do more. I think everyone needs to do more to get us out of this situation. Or I'm on 1%, hey. It might be gone soon. You know, we need to do something to get out of this situation. Otherwise, we're not going to get out of here without unscathed. We're already pretty scathed, I would say. But yeah, I'd like to keep as clean as possible. I might give a little send-off before this runs out, and they get picked off. But yeah, I wish everyone the best in their own journeys. I'd like to again acknowledge the elders of this land. I'm on stolen Wurundjeri land right now, and yeah, I hope that we can make change together. That's what I want to see. Good morning, everybody.